Hello and welcome back to Beauty and the Greek.
Hello.
It's episode 11. My name is Kate.
And my name is William, and we just didn't press record on about 30 minutes of a podcast that we just recorded before this. So I'm a little bit thrown off, but I'm feeling good. How are you feeling, baby?
I've been feeling phenomenal lately. Phenomenal.
What's been going on, man? Just take it over. Take it over.
So we've been, working, going to the gym every day. I've been taking ashwagandha at night and the TikToks weren't lying. Nothing can throw me off.
Oh, this girl is. I'd be looking over, and I'm like, "Hey, how's good night?" She's like, "Okay." Like you're floating over there. I don't know what's going on, but you've been having an aura.
It makes you feel like your bed is the comfiest bed you've ever been in your entire life and you just relax into it. And then the next day you wake up and you're like, like nothing can throw me off today. Like you could say something like so horrible to me and I'd probably be like, I don't know, life goes on. Like, like, I just don't care.
Hey, you've had a little spring in your step since you started taking the ashwagandha.
I have been. Look, give it a go. Give it a try. Let me know how you feel because
You got an ashwagandha brand out there. Let's come sponsor the pod. We'd love to have you.
I think the Kourtney Kardashians let me things. I think they have a let me chill with ashwagandha.
Courtney, come on the pod. We'd love to interview you. Drop off some ashwagandha.
I take the let me sleep every night.
God,
I love Kourtney.
she seems like the coolest one. I need some ashwagandha after. I'm still just like, I cannot believe I just did that.
It's okay.
Oh my gosh.
You just gotta.
I'm so sorry.
You just gotta listen to me talk about this stuff again.
I could do it. I could do that.
So I'm gonna go over pop culture. This is my new segment, Kate's pop culture updates. It's basically like any celebrity stuff, anything you see on TikTok. Basically, I'm doing all the TikTok research for you. So you don't have to scroll. Save your thumb. I got you.
And I'm going to be right there with you because I have no idea what's going on. Well, I do because she literally just broke some of the news to me and then we didn't record it. So we're doing some of this again, but I'm hearing it for the first time with you.
Okay, my favorite one. Hailey Bieber's sister threw a used tampon at a bartender.
Diabolical.
I love this story. It's horrible, but it's like reality TV, right? That's a beautiful, and I have so many questions. Were they in an argument and then she went to the bathroom, took it out, came back and threw it in his face? I don't think so, because that is only something you do in the heat of the moment, which means she was wearing a dress or a skirt or something, reached up in there and flung it at him. And what a horrible, iconic moment.
I think, can I break down what I'm assuming happened?
I would love to hear it.
I think, first of all, you don't even know her name. You're calling her Hailey Bieber's sister. And I think her plan, if she had a plan, backfired. I think she's realizing I'm being overshadowed by Hailey. I got to get my name out in the headlines. And then she decides to do this. And then it backfires because nobody even knows her name. And they say Hailey Bieber's sister. And so she didn't even get the recognition for it.
What's funny is like that's the
Such a
complete
shame.
opposite of Hailey Bieber's brand. She's so like nice, clean, good girl.
Oh,
put
she's
together.
not throw a tampon at a bartender brand? Like who?
That's a very specific brand.
Whose brand is that?
I don't know. Please let me know because I would love to follow along. That's honestly, Hailey, maybe. She's like, I'm not like Hailey. I'm different. Like, I'm crazy. Like, follow me, not Hailey.
Just another day in the service industry. As someone who's been a bartender before, here's what I think most likely happened. She may have been overserved. Bartender may have said, hey, might be cutting you off right now. And if her first reaction was just tampon to the head, that's a wild move. But another day, just another day in the service industry.
You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that after, I think she got arrested, but
she should definitely get arrested for that. That's fucking crazy.
that's like assault. Like having a dirty tampon thrown at you is insane. But what I'm
That's
hoping
crazy.
is that she gets on TikTok, opens the app and goes, get ready with me while I tell you the story about the time I threw a tampon at a bartender.
You and the whole world would watch that.
I would eat it up. Eat it up. It would be so good. But speaking of reality TV, as you know, I went to my friend's house. I watched The Bachelor last night. Our girl Maria got booted because
Wait, the Greek girl got booted?
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because she didn't everyone else, it was hometown. So he went and met all their family, yada yada, and every other girl is like, I'm falling for you. And that's kind of the time you're supposed to say that. And she didn't say it. And like fair enough, because you've only been on a few dates with this guy. You don't whatever. So she didn't say it. And so then he's hung up on making sure that every girl there is like obsessed with him. Like he has like a complex happening.
Don't you think anyone that becomes the Bachelor has that complex?
I mean, for sure. But he's said it. He's like, I have to make sure every girl is here for me and loves me. And like, he really like needs a lot of extra like validation. And that's fine if you need validation, but whatever. Our girl got kicked off and I love her and she looked amazing. But what I was going to tell you is that her family's Greek, obviously. And guess what they had for dinner?
What they have?
Yummy sta.
Oh, Yemista. I would have guessed pastizio. So bringing some Greek culture to The Bachelor. I love that. But let's be honest, like a Greek family, they're not going to be down for The Bachelor. They're not going to be down for their little girl, their princess getting taken away by some reality show.
Yeah.
The Greeks don't fly like that.
And her and her dad are like so close. And he was basically like, I'm fine. He was nice. He was like, I'm finding it a little hard to believe that you have feelings for my daughter and all of these other girls. Like, that's my daughter.
That's
like
the Greek intellect. We have very, very smart heads.
he was basically like saying, you should just be obsessed with my daughter. Why are we even doing the show anymore? Like, you've met my daughter, right? Like, you're obsessed with her.
Oh, that's a bar. Way to have your daughter's back. I love that. That's that Greek loyalty, baby. Let's go.
That's how I'm going to be as a parent. Like, I'm going to be so confused if anything bad ever happens to them, because I'm going to be like, but it's her. What do you mean?
How do you think your parents would have reacted to you being on the show and then like having them come home?
I think my parents would have done really well.
Amazing.
We grew up watching The Bachelor, and my dad hates to admit it, but he's like not watching it. And then he's like, no, she's the one that's going to win. He always picks from night one and he's always right. So he loves it. He eats it up.
Kate has those parents where every person I would guarantee after hanging out with them goes to Kate, wow, like your parents are so cool.
For sure.
Yes.
And my little sister is very entertaining and would just be the star of the show.
She would take over and she'd become an overnight internet sensation for sure.
100%. I would love to see it.
My parents would not have it. They wouldn't want to be on it. They would want nothing to do with it. They'd say, Will, you're fucking nuts. And call us when you've got your senses back.
Do you think your brother would do it because your parents won't?
George would definitely do it.
What would he say? What would he act like?
He'd be like, hey, my brother's really great. He's such a great guy, and he's great. My brother's the most supportive, greatest guy ever, but he's like, I don't know if he'd be saying too many dynamic things. But George would be great. George would be, I don't know if he'd become a star, but everyone would say like, oh my God, they got a great brother relationship because my brother's the best.
He is.
We're very supportive of each other. George would definitely come on.
Yeah. Speaking of reality TV, which Will loves this show.
Which?
A little show called Love is Blind.
Yes, I do.
So,
love it a lot. Love it way more than I probably should.
They should release all the episodes at once because all of like the tea comes out on the internet before, and so it's spoiled. So I'm gonna be here to spoil it for you now because I had to hear it, so now you have to hear it. So
are you gonna? Yeah. If you don't want the spoilers,
skip forward a little bit.
Skip forward a little bit.
Okay, so first of all, if a guy tells you, yeah, my dad cheated, my uncle cheats, my cousins cheat, my friends cheat, and I'm afraid I'm going to cheat on you, maybe don't get engaged to that guy because I think he's doing a little foreshadowing.
He's gonna cheat.
He's teeing it up. He's giving you the expectation.
Yes, soft opening.
He wants applause.
Soft launch.
He wants applause every day for him not cheating on you. Like, he's going to come home. He's going to be like, another day I didn't cheat, baby. Like, And she's gonna be like, yay.
He's gonna be the type of dude that comes home to his girl and's like, man, there was so many women on me all over time. Like I could have done X, Y, and Z. I could have done this, and like I just didn't, because you know what I'm talking about.
That's so spot on.
Yeah,
That's so spot on. But basically, people on TikTok saw him out, and his behaviors indicate that they're not together anymore. But
Shocking.
if he is a cheater, they definitely could be together, and he could just be wilding out.
Oh, not shocking.
And they also said when they did like the tour of his house or whatever, he had a vision board. And am I judging him for having a vision board in his kitchen?
Don't judge the man for wanting to have dreams. No, don't judge him for a vision board.
I think if a television show was coming to my house, I'd put it away.
My man's trying to manifest.
I mean, okay.
You gotta see to believe, baby.
You're right. Good for him. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You can't hate on that.
Let me be mean for a second.
We literally bought a whiteboard, and the only reason it's not up is because it's too big. We got too large of a vision board.
But I wouldn't put it on display for everyone to see.
Where would you put it? In your bathroom?
Okay, you make a lot of good points.
I think so.
But anyways, in the corner of his vision board, he had like a little TikTok symbol. So people were like, oh, he just wanted to get famous, like TikTok famous. So he went on the show, and I'm talking about it.
That's with 99.999% certainty of the case.
I mean, that's like every person that goes on reality TV show for love.
He's going to get his 15 minutes. We're talking about him on this podcast.
We are. And there's another guy from Love is Blind that does TikToks now about Love is Blind and the show and stuff. I forget his name, but he's been popping up on my For You page. So they're doing it. They're getting there. And then also the fight between Chelsea and Jimmy when he only went out for 45 minutes and she like freaked out on him. Apparently, according to another girl on the show, he was actually going out every single night. So they just did that to make her look crazy.
She did appear pretty crazy.
She absolutely appeared crazy.
Didn't he like bang one of his girlfriends or something? What's going on with that?
Yeah. So then she was also mad because one of his best girlfriends, he hooked up with before, and she brought it up, and he was like, you were supposed to say that off camera. Like, that's not fair to her, yada, yada. And I'm like, well, that's a good point. But, so he hooked up with one of his best girlfriends, and they like hang out, text, call, like every day. Like they're really best friends. And she's like, well, that makes me uncomfortable. And we were talking the other night. We're like, there's like a certain etiquette when you start dating someone. If you're super close with another girl or another guy, it's just normal to still be friends with them. Absolutely. Obviously, but not like being on the phone with them for 3 hours at a time 3 times a week. You don't
want to make the person, your partner, feel like you kind of care about this person of the opposite sex more than
exactly
them. So I feel like it's an unspoken thing to pull back naturally, but the lines get skewed when you've been physically intimate with that friend of the opposite sex.
That's very different.
Very different. At the very least, you have to pretty much cut off communication and see them when you see them, be cordial.
They're an acquaintance.
Yes. They're an acquaintance.
Like, you're not hitting them up to go to dinner.
Yes. If they were friends, like back in the day, maybe you had this one moment, this and that. Yes, but yeah, man, Jimmy.
I agree. Well, when I was scrolling TikTok this morning, I also saw the stuff about Jay Shetty. You know who that is, right?
Jay Shetty, I do.
Yeah, so he's like a
Jay Shetty
relationship advice kind of guy, and he has like really big podcasts. He's written books, whatever. So apparently he lied about what he went to school for, and he also said he was a monk for 3 years, and that's not a complete lie, but some of the things he said about that is a lie.
Did he just like watch the show for 3 years? Like,
I have no idea.
Why would you lie about being a monk to feel like you need to give relationship advice? Those two things am I being stupid? Aren't monks like not In relationships, or are they
Well-
not physically intimate with people?
Well, it's not just relationship advice. It's like mental health advice. And
Oh,
so
my fault.
the reason people
My
are
fault,
mad
Shady.
is because they're like, well, he's not qualified to be giving mental health advice. Like that could be harmful or whatever.
Oh, if he's lying about his entire past.
Yeah. And he's
Good
also
point.
selling like courses and certifications
Oh boy.
on how to be a life coach. And actually, I have something to say
that
about
screams scammer, dude.
And you know what he was saying about it?
What?
He was saying once you get the certification, then you'll get a degree from like one of these schools. And the
dude.
schools came back and were like, "No, you don't."
He's a scammer.
Yeah, it's weird. I've seen his stuff, but I've never watched it or really gotten into it. I don't know. But also like selling courses to people on how to be a life coach, that's I don't know. I think that's such a scam. I don't like that.
I've never been like a hater of him, but I've never watched any of his videos and been like, oh wow, I can't wait to watch the new Shetty.
Me neither.
You know, but people are obsessed with that fool.
They are.
What's that last point up there, Caitlin, that I just happened to see?
I don't know why I wrote this down. Okay, well.
This is some Alabama shit that she's about to read right now. I just looked up and said,
I saw someone else ask their boyfriend this, and I thought it's a question that should be asked.
I have my answer if you'd like to ask the question.
If you found out we were cousins, would you break up with me?
Yes.
You would break up with me.
First cousins? Yes. Because then I want children and I don't want them to be deformed.
Okay, what if we couldn't have children? Then would you break up with me?
I think so. I really do. If you found out we were first cousins, would you break up with me? Oh my gosh. You really love me.
Yeah, I would have to.
You have to.
I would have to. But the correct answer
We would still smash on the side.
Nobody's gotta know.
No. I'm just saying for like the public. For the public. We gotta cut things off, but what? I'll be seeing you for the rest of my life, girl. No, I'm just playing, kind of, sort of.
Great answer.
Is that all the news you have for the day, Caitlin?
I don't know. Oh yeah. So we've been watching a reality show called Traders. And if you haven't watched it, it's amazing.
Phenomenal. It's like a game show.
But
it's really, really cool.
We're watching it and we're like, they're not showing any relationships or hookups between these people. Like there has to be somebody here hooking up.
Which really quickly, I will say there is an appeal to that. That it really is like all about this game. Anyways, sorry, continue.
Well, guess who's dating now that's on the season we're watching?
Who?
Ekin Sue and Pilot Pete, the Bachelor guy.
Oh, so she was sneaking into that room for sure at night. She was getting lonely in that single bed. Oh my God. Ekin Sue, who are you? Pilot Pete, huh?
Yep, I love her. Anyways, news time.
Yeah, so that was Kate's news segment. I have some of my own news. It is Will's news segment of the week. Jason Kelsey, longtime center for the Philadelphia Eagles, is announcing his retirement. He's beloved. He's like randomly like one of the most beloved football players in NFL history. His retirement speech was extremely emotional, even for someone like myself who's a Giants fan. Do you know what a center does on the football field?
I'm guessing they're in the center of the lineup.
That is correct. Of the offensive line. That's correct.
And if they're in the center, then they're probably passing the ball to the quarterback.
They're snapping it to the quarterback who then passes the ball to the receivers. That's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's known as like the best center of all time.
So he's really good at giving the ball to someone else to do the work.
Oh my gosh. If I have not heard a crazier girl sports take Clip that. That is wild right there. Yeah, that's all he does. He just hands the ball off and then says, "Lee diddy," and they do the work. And he's really good at that.
Wow, that's what I would want to be if I was a football player.
He's incredible at that. Rihanna has performed live for the first time in over 5 years at a pre-Indian wedding ceremony. Had the likes of some of the world's most famous tech moguls, Mark Zuckerberg. I think I saw Bill Gates there.
Wow.
A bunch of super famous people. She gave like a 45-minute to an hour-long set. Got paid $6.2 million.
I wish I was there. That was probably so cool.
What song, if you had to hear any song live of Rihanna's, which would you want to hear?
Love on the Brain.
Love on the Brain.
It's so good. That whole album is fire.
Is that a wedding song? I guess that's like a first dance song.
I mean, I don't really care about the wedding. I just care about me seeing Rihanna sing songs I want to hear.
Okay. Give me like Rude Boy, 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 Won't You Get It?
That's my karaoke song.
What?
It has been for, oh my God, I just had a memory. One time I was with a group of like very conservative people. We were at karaoke. And me and my friend started singing Rude Boy. And everyone's like halfway through, we kind of like weren't into it anymore because everyone's faces, they were mortified, but we had to finish this song and we were like,
oh my gosh. I'm glad you have that memory with Rude Boy singing that loud.
Also, a guy in my high school, his brother got Rude Boy tatted on his forearm. Massive.
That is one of the worst tattoos I have ever heard of in my life. You know what the worst tattoo I've ever seen? I had an acquaintance that I worked with when I lived in Chicago who wore Ralph Lauren all the time. He always wore polo. And this guy, not the small logo, the large one that was on those polos with the horse?
Yeah.
He tatted the large polo logo above his left pec.
Wow.
Craziest.
Wow.
Worst tattoo I have seen in my entire life. Lindsay Lohan confirms that Freaky Friday 2 is happening.
That's amazing. Freaky Friday was so good. Lindsay, she is Greek.
She might be the only fully American woman who is more Greek than you.
And everyone made fun of her accent, but you don't understand.
Lohan.
When you're in Greece for that long, like I started doing that. I understand you, Lindsay. I'm here for you. I'm sorry you got all the hate.
The biggest difference between the Greek and the English language is the way in which questions are formed. Let me give you an example. So if you got to go to the mall, I would ask, do you want to go to the mall?
Mm-hmm.
Do you need me to pick you up? The question kind of goes up at the end of it. In Greece, in the Greek language, we ask like, do you want to go to the mall? Do you need me to pick you up? Are you hungry? And so she started talking like that, and it's easy to pick up, like,
It means she's empathetic. Apparently, if you accidentally like mock people's accents, it means you're empathetic and just trying to connect with them. There's a word for it. So stop bullying Lindsay for that.
My brother and I have always like roasted my dad. Whenever he would go to the South, he would like start speaking with a Southern accent. Or,
No
like,
way.
He would like, oh my gosh, my dad. So Dad, I know you're listening. Shout out empathy. He just is an empathetic dude. That's all.
It's
that
a good
was.
thing.
On this day, 15 years ago, Miley Cyrus released Climb.
Wow.
I don't really know what Climb is at all, but I figured that you would like that.
The Climb?
The Climb.
It's a very important song. I was obsessed with Hannah Montana, and it was like the song of the Hannah Montana movie. I was I made pins with Miley and Hannah's face on them to put on my backpack. Like I was obsessed. So that's great. Love that for her.
Shout out Miley, man. I feel like Miley's polarizing, but like she's cool. I like Miley.
I don't think she's polarizing anymore. And also her Bangers album.
I agree.
That time she was getting so much hate. The Bangers album slaps. Run that back one day. Just listen through the whole thing. I swear, it's so good.
Online artist Shang Wing Yi has been selling jars of farts for $300.
Wow. Wasn't a girl doing that one time?
I remember listening to this girl on Rogan like many years ago, like almost 10 years ago, that would sell like fingernail clippings and
Ew.
boogers and all the I
Ew.
know, and like making bank.
What do they do with them?
That is
Like, what's
none of
happening?
my business. I can tell you, there's some real freaks out there. Oh, by the way, those jars of farts that she's selling for $300, they're sold out, flying off the shelves. Absolute madness.
If worse
dude.
comes to worse, fart in a
Yeah.
jar.
Fart in a
You
jar.
can make a lot of those a day.
Yeah, that lactose intolerant hits different, dude. And my shit be stinky. Lastly, a restaurant goes viral for charging customers a $20 live band and entertainment fee.
Did they know before going?
They did not.
Oh, well, that's wild.
Yeah, because if they knew before going, that's kind of like buying a ticket to go
That's
see a
like,
show.
yeah.
That'd be normal. But no, they found out on their bill by surprise, and now people are really upset.
Oh, that's
How would you feel about that? If you left your one to check out and all of a sudden you had to pay extra $20 that you didn't know you had to pay?
I don't know. I'm all hopped up on ashwagandha, so I'd probably be like, whatever, give them the $20. And that wouldn't surprise me. Like in LA, for some reason, I could see that happening, and I would just be like, what am I gonna do?
That is it for the Beauty and the Greek news. Come back next week for the hottest, spiciest news in pop culture and entertainment
Wow,
and politics and
politics,
sports.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm the sports official.
For-
That didn't even make sense.
That was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. We got all the news. Come back next week. But now we have a segment that we're going to be starting called Hypothetical Questions.
This is so fun, you guys. We draw one of these cards and send them in our group chat with our friends every day. It's so good.
We have one that seems to be pretty polarizing amongst the squad, and I felt like sharing it would be the right thing to do.
Sit back. Think about this while I'm reading it. Think about what your answer would be, all right? This is the desert island.
Take it away, Kate.
While traveling on business, your spouse, whom you love, is involved in a plane crash over the Pacific Ocean. It is assumed that everyone on board has died, but then the unbelievable happens. It turns out your spouse has survived. He or she managed to swim to a desert island where he or she lived in relative comfort with one other survivor. They miraculously located most of the aircraft supplies on the beach, and the island itself was filled with ample food sources. These two survivors return home via helicopter, greeted by the public as media sensations. During a press conference, you can't help but notice the other survivor physically embodies the type of person who your mate is normally attracted. Moreover, the intensity of the event has clearly galvanized a relationship between the two crash victims. This is making me hot. They spend most of the interview explaining how they could have not survived without the other person's presence. They explain how they passed the time by telling anecdotes from their respective lives, and both admit to having virtually given up on the possibility for rescue. At the end of the press conference, the two survivors share a tearful goodbye hug. It's extremely emotional. After the press conference, you're finally reunited with your spouse. He or she embraces you warmly and kisses you deeply. So the question is, how long do you wait before asking if he or she was ever unfaithful to you on this island? Do you ever ask? And if your mate's answer is yes, would that, under these specific circumstances, be acceptable?
Would you like me to go first?
Go ahead.
Yes. At some point, I would definitely ask. I would probably ask within the first month. At some point, I think I would ask, would it change things? Would it change things? I think I'd love to say no, because I'm happy my baby girl is okay, and whatever she had to do to stay safe and to keep her wits
safe.
to keep her wits about her, including hopping on some other man, I'm cool with it. But in reality, I think I'd be like, why did you need to ride that pogo stick for survival? Was that really necessary? And
Babe, we were trying to stay warm.
For sure. Body heat. Totally.
We were trying to say more, but it slipped in.
I think it's one of those things too that you almost at that point are like, that's the love of your life now.
Yeah.
You know, like you went through that experience. It's just kind of like, he, she's yours, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's a pretty great. You know, I don't know. I think inevitably in reality it would change things, especially if the goodbye and the hug and it was emotional and you looked at you like,
This
dude,
whole thing, like, makes me really uncomfortable. Would I ask? Yes. When I ask, pretty much immediately when I'm asking you to describe, like, "Oh, like, so how was it? Tell me everything that
for
happened."
your like first
And then
sentence,
I would wait for, like, a little in where it would make sense to be like, and I would ask it like this too.
did you fuck her?
No, I would be like I'd try to be so cool about it. I'd be like, "Oh, did you guys, like, have any, like, chemistry? Like, did anything happen between you guys
You
like
would
that?"
not be cool about it.
No, I wouldn't be cool about it. Are you kidding me? I would be so upset.
Like,
And
why'd she look at you like that on the podium when you were saying your goodbyes?
oh my God, I would have that whole thing recorded, embedded in my memory so I could ask later on, not during this conversation, but later on about every little interaction I saw you guys have together. Even if you said, oh my God, what if they say no and you don't believe them?
Well, that's a whole other set of problems. But if you say no, it's like, what are you gonna say? Yeah, you did.
Yeah, you're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
like it's they were still stranded on it. Like they almost died. It was a traumatic experience,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
right?
But
So
like, okay, but would it be a problem if that happened? Yeah. And I would also be like, look, you love the way she looks. You guys obviously have chemistry. You went through this you trauma bonded. Like, go get your girl, I guess. I'll just move on because like this is your person now.
yeah, that's wild.
But like thinking about it, like if it was you, I wouldn't I'd be like, okay, like
All right, it'd be really
y-
hard.
yeah, like you love her, but like I don't.
I feel like I wouldn't let you go right away, but I would kind of like monitor over the next, year, couple years, and basically I'd be like, yeah, I see her mind drifting,
I know, that's what would be hard.
drifting like the current on that deserted island, right back into his arms
I'd be
to keep warm.
you're like laying in bed next to me at night. I'm like, he's thinking about the island right now. I know he is. And he's thinking about like what he's eating for breakfast.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. What workout I'm gonna do that there? What would y'all do?
Yeah, what would y'all do?
What would y'all
Let us know in the
do?
comments if you're on YouTube.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of questions submitted to us, and we really appreciate that. We've been starting a new segment called Beauty and the Deep, where we pick a few questions every week, a little bit harder hitting than most, get a little bit more serious, and find out a little bit more about each other.
Let's do it.
All right. Do you want to pick the first question?
Sure. What is one way I've been there for you in a way that you didn't know you needed?
Wow. That's a good question. I would say your patience and the overall level of calmness that you bring into the house, structure, stoicism. It's the first time in my life where I feel like that I've been at peace.
Wow.
And I didn't really know that that was something I needed so much.
Wow.
How about you?
Oh man. I can get very anxious. I've got a lot of thoughts and usually, I mean, throughout my whole life and like in every relationship, I just keep those things to myself because like I don't want to bother the other person or make it a thing or whatever. And this is like the first time that I've been with someone where if something's bothering me or I'm worried about something, I can just talk to you and it immediately makes it better. So I'm not worried about something for days or even weeks. I just know that I can come to you and you're gonna make me feel better, like, immediately. And that's a level of, like, peace I didn't know existed. Like, I've never had anyone that I can confide in like that and that can comfort me in the way that I need.
I hope you feel comfortable enough to tell me anything at any time, and I'm glad that I'm providing that space for you. This is a good one. What's something about us that you hope never changes?
I hope that we always find the humor in things. We're always laughing, always giggling, and I hope that life just continues that way. And, like, no matter what, we're able to laugh stuff off and, handle things that are serious, but not let those serious things really get to us and, keep everything light and fun and just enjoyable. Like, life is meant to be enjoyed. You're gonna go through ups and downs, but that's, part of the experience of life. Like, the downs come with the ups, and I think we do a really good job of, even in a weird way, enjoying those down moments together.
I think we do too.
What's something about us that you hope never changes?
How much we have each other's backs and prioritize how we prioritize each other. It's that feels so good to know that no matter what, you would drop whatever you have to help me out, no questions asked, and that that vice versa.
Yeah,
I love that a lot.
me too. What's something people assume about you that you wish was true?
Wow. That I'm not scared to take risks. Just because I take a lot of risks doesn't mean that I'm not scared or that I'm not confident or that I don't have imposter syndrome or that I'm wondering why some of the stuff that we're doing works.
That's part of the fun of it, I feel, being scared and doing it.
Yeah, I embrace it all.
Mhm.
But I think people think that I just, and this has like been my whole life. Like people have been like, seems like you don't really care. Like, how do you do that? I'm like, I care
Yeah.
a lot. I'm really scared. So I definitely wish that I wasn't as nervous, but at least I'm still taking the risks.
Exactly.
I'll ask you the same question. What's something people assume about you that you wish was true?
That I have my shit together.
See, I live with you and I feel like you do.
I mean, it's funny because I do, but I don't feel like I do. Like, I'm always like, "Oh, well, you should be doing this and this, and you could be, like, more organized, or you could do this thing better, this thing better." It's like,
Virgo.
as it's like as soon as
Virgo.
I'll have all these things I need to do or I wanna, like, incorporate into my life, and I do those things, and then it's like my brain's like, "Well, actually, what about all these things? You're not doing those." I'm like, "'Cause I'm tired."
No, this is a good one. What emotion do you struggle to express? Ooh.
Oh, that's a hard one. Oh, man.
I can go first if you would like.
No.
You got it?
Mhm. I think anger. I you know, I can be mad about something, but not say anything or not do anything about it, and then just let it build up until I'm super mad, and then I do something about it.
We've been there once or twice.
But I feel like if I just expressed the anger when it, like, comes up, then it would be different. And I don't know, I don't think suppressing your anger is a good thing to do either. And there are some things that you should be angry about, you know? And sometimes I'm just like, I'm not gonna turn this into a thing or, like, have a whole, like, emotional, like, trigger over this. Like, I don't wanna bother anyone or hurt anyone's feelings or whatever. And, like, I think you should be mad sometimes.
For sure. I think, you shouldn't hold any emotions in. But then there's that fine line of being way too emotional about everything. So you're like,
Yeah, I mean, you also have to look at, like, why? And this is what I do. I'm like, well, why am I feeling angry? Like, this is something within me, not them. And so that's like why it goes away because I like explain it away.
You know, I feel like that is from the outside at least one of your superpowers in a way.
Yeah, that's true.
But I know what you mean for sure. I feel like with me, I definitely struggle to express sadness.
Yeah, for sure.
I've always been the happy go lucky, super positive, very outgoing guy. And I am naturally like that. You know, I wake up every day very happy and I'm so blessed about that. Like, what do I have, you know, that wouldn't make me happy? Right. But anytime I do feel sadness, I almost like feel bad about it. Like I almost feel like I'm
Really?
like letting people down, like they expect me to always be very happy. And so you know, I also kind of don't necessarily think it's a bad thing because I sometimes feel like you reap what you sow. And, you know, I feel like if I'm always thinking positively and happy, even when the sad stuff is coming up, you know,
But you gotta let yourself feel those feelings to
I know,
move through it. Because if not, they just bottle up inside of you
I
and something
know.
crazy comes out.
And I do, yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
It's definitely not good to do that. What else? Should we do one more?
Yeah, let's do one
All
more.
right, I got a good one.
Okay.
If you could relive any day that we've spent together, what would you choose?
You already know what I'm gonna say.
Oh, you don't say mine. Say it, say it.
Yeah, well, we found the beach in
That was
Knoxville.
that was gonna be
Yeah,
mine. That
we
could be both of our answers, but
it is.
tell the story, baby.
Basically, a woman working at this juice smoothie shop told us about this beach that like
We're
locals go to.
back up. Where are we?
We're in
Paint the picture.
we're in Knoxville in Greece
Yes.
on an island.
Beautiful, beautiful,
Beautiful.
beautiful place.
And this woman tells us about this secret beach. She shows us on the map kind of where it is, but she doesn't give us an address. She's like, it's kind of around here. If you can find it, then you find it.
Well, she wasn't gonna tell us about the beach if it wasn't for that girl. There was a girl in the smoothie shop who recognized us and was like, "Oh," and the smoothie lady was like, "Ooh, you are worthy for my secret spot."
Yeah, so she shows us on the map kind of where it is. And we're like, we're gonna figure this out. So we drive.
No road. There's no name of a road. No nothing. She just pointed on the map and said it's around here. Good
Yeah.
luck.
And so we
Crazy.
drive like an hour and a half, I think, over the entire island. And we get to this strip, and it's like maybe a mile, 2 miles of where it could possibly be. And
Crazy.
we're stopping at different places. We're looking around. And we passed this one spot where this car was. I was like, I think that's it. Cause there was that one car there. And we go and we're looking around. We find a cove, but it's still not it. We're like, oh, this is cool, but like, it's not it. But then Will was like, wait, I think down there.
Mhm.
And we have to like climb down the side of this mountain. And it's this little cove and it's our own private beach. Like cars can't see us, we can't see cars. It's literally just us there.
We had a completely private beach. It was unbelievable.
So we just did what anyone would do. Skinny dipped and ate and drank and listened to music and just like we're humans.
Yeah, we didn't see a single soul the entire time. We're there for about 4 hours.
Yeah.
This was a really far. This is for an island in Greece. This was an hour and a half drive to get there. Sunset. We ended up driving back home. It was one of the coolest days. That was one of the coolest days of my life.
It was amazing. And then we went and ate. There was a piperie. Is that what it's called?
Piperi.
Piperie. Piperie. Well, there was this one place we ate at
Piperi.
every single day we were there. We went every day and we went and got a feast of like the most American food on the menu.
Yeah, we literally, I don't know what, we had so much Greek food. We were like, let's just, we got some like barbecue
We got
or
burger.
something.
We got some barbecue burger, some wings, some nachos.
That was crazy. It was an unbelievable day, but specifically that beach was just It was one of the coolest moments in my life, and I'm really blessed to have shared that experience with you.
Me too. It was amazing.
Anything else, Caitlin? Should we wrap up? Should we wrap up this episode?
Let's wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, send them to beautyandthegreekshow@gmail.com.
Yeah. Anything y'all want us to talk about? Any stories y'all got? We're trying to dissect, break down, reflect, relate.
We want to hear it. We want to hear from you guys.
We will be back next Monday and every Monday going forward. We're so excited to continue this journey with y'all. We're going to be bringing in some guests, doing some interviews. And yeah, I'm excited.
Me too. Bye, guys.
Let's go eat some food.
Yes.
Bye. I'm starving.
Bye.